Howdy, Travis from KnowHow here. We interviewed 400 workers and we asked them what could be improved about their onboarding when they started their job at their restoration company. And more than anything else, they told us that they needed more structure. This was more than better job shadowing. This was more than just friendlier coworkers. They said the first and most important thing that they needed was better structure, a better understanding of where they are now and where they're going in order to get all the skills they need to be successful in their role. So we went out and built the most comprehensive way of training and onboarding staff, showing them a crystal clear roadmap for how they will acquire all the skills that they need in order to do their jobs well. And most importantly, we built it in a way that works for workers, that delivers information the way that they want to receive it. And as a cherry on top, we built it in such a way that it takes only seconds for administrators to set up. In this video, I'm going to give you a comprehensive overview of our workflows functionality that takes your individual processes and SOPs and turns them into training roadmaps for all your new staff. Let's get started. Okay, so there's going to be two parts to this video. The first half of this video, I'm going to give you a comprehensive overview of how you set up training workflows, every aspect of our workflows dashboard so that you can make the most of it and onboard new staff within seconds. And then the second half, this really critical piece that I don't think enough companies think about is what is the experience like for the end worker? You have a 19-year-old, 20-year-old Gen Z worker coming into the job force. They've been on their phone their whole lives. And now we have to deliver training in a way that's going to stick with them. And so I'm going to walk through exactly what that experience is like for an end worker going through training and KnowHow as well. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to flip to my workflows dashboard here. If you are on KnowHow, it's this little workflows tab, although let's just close this out and simplify the screen a little bit, and we'll come back to everything else in a little bit here. So here you can see, here are all the workflows that I have going on. A workflow is just consider it like a playlist of processes. It's just a sequence of processes in a certain order designed to hit a certain outcome. So you can see I'm training quite a few people here. I've got this Travis guy, Alex, Joe, Braden, Chelsea, all being trained up in different aspects of the role. And then here up top, we call them repeatable workflows. I have all my different training. You've got training on how to use PSA, certain software, new water mitigation technician, water technician, everything like that. It's all here in front of us. So we're going to create a workflow from scratch in order to get started. So I'm going to click this plus button. Again, we can import a repeatable one. 90% of the time, that's probably what you want to do. You don't want to reinvent the wheel. You just want to give someone else your new water mitigation tech training. But in this case, I'm going to show you just how easy it is to build training from scratch. So let's say I've got a new water mitigation tech that's joining the team, and we will say they are starting on July 8th. And so from here, what I can do is I can just drag and drop processes in, all these SOPs that I already have in my KnowHow Hub. I can just drag and drop them in to create this workflow here. So I'm going to identify this first one, identify hazards on a work site. Let me click these few other ones that I think are also really important if you're going to get trained up as a water mitigation tech. I can do a few things here. I can say, hey, we're going to assign these specific dates. So in this case, you're starting on July 8th. I want you to do these on July 8th. And then we've got a few others that we'll bring in here that we want to do on July 9th. So let me assign these the date of July 9th. And I can go through, you can see here it's separated what I'm doing on the 8th, on the 9th. Let me search just for mitigation processes here because I'm teaching someone the art of mitigation. And I've got a few other ones that I don't think I've added here, such as setting up dehumidifiers, downing and off respirators, all really important stuff. And so let me assign these to Wednesday. And you can see already within a few minutes, I've built out structured training and onboarding. Now you might say, hey, Travis, this is great, but we actually don't have hundreds of SOPs and processes ready to go. Well, the good news is actually, if you're in the restoration industry, we have 1,000+ industry-built templates at your disposal that you can just import. Really high-quality templates that are built by experts in the industry, vendors in the industry, so you are not starting from scratch. We also have a bunch of other tools to make it really easy to import PDFs, SOPs, all that stuff, but that's for another video. So I've got all these, I've got about, 12, 13, 14 processes here. This is a good way to get started. Let's say I want to space things out. I don't want to sign everything on July 10th, so we can just say, hey, next week we're going to add, we want these to be reassigned to the 15th here instead. Perfect. But I also have the option if I don't want to assign hard dates, but instead I just want to give categories. Let's say there's two aspects. There's like the theoretical aspect of learning water mitigation, and then there's the more practical aspect. So in this case, let's say you set up a dehumidifier, donned off respirator. These are all very, very practical. So I'm just going to add this label, practice, give those the label. And then these other ones, understanding the class of respirators, maybe what you're supposed to do day one, all these other ones here. Oh, I can see I've got some of them twice. That is no big deal. I'm just going to assign these the label theory. Oh, not Siri. It's hungry for attention. Okay, so now I've got all these here, and I can just organize how this is sorted. So sort by labels. Now you can see I've got my theory and I've got my practice. Theory should probably come first, so we'll drag it and drop it up here. Bing, bang, boom. Look at that. Great. So now, one other thing I want to point out. I have all these SOPs and processes, but very common concern that people have, how do I know my employees are not just like, check, check, yeah, got it, complete. I've officially been trained. Well, all of these here are what we call skill builders. These are AI-generated tests based on the content of your SOP or your process. So you can see here, let's do this one. We've got this SOP called Identify Hazards on a Work Site. It's got tons of information already here, and you can see that actually we have already AI generated a bunch of tests. Let me just activate that. Ready to go. And turn that test on. Let's see if I've got another one. Understand the classes of respirators. Set up a containment. Perfect. Here I'm going to click generate, and our AI is going to read all the content of this process and then generate test questions right in front of us. Show of hands, I'm not typing anything. Our AI is reading all of the content. We've trained it on how to create good multiple choice, good true false questions. It's all right here in front of us. It's just created these based on the content of this process. So I'm going to click activate. Great. So now I can actually turn on a summary test too, which will test workers after they've completed all the processes in this test. They will automatically be assigned a summary test, which is like the final exam that takes questions from everything else that they were tested on. And at the end of this workflow, before it's fully complete, we test them finally, hey, on the summary of everything you were taught, do you still retain the information that we put in front of you? So you have access to that too. You know, not only did your workers complete the training, but how well they understood the training. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to assign these to someone. Let's assign this to this silly looking guy, Travis. Click confirm. Perfect. Now Travis has been assigned this training, water mitigation technician. Just like that, in a few minutes, I set up this training from scratch. But I can make it even easier in the future because I can turn this into a repeatable workflow, which means for future water techs, I don't even have to go through this process anymore. I'm going to save it as a repeatable workflow. So in this case, let's call it Water Tech Level 3 training. I can assign a badge to it so that once this a worker completes this, they actually get a badge on their profile that says, hey, they completed Water Tech Level 3. I can upload my own icons, or I've got a bunch of icons here. In this case, perfect, we got a water icon here, just like that. All right, I'm gonna give this the hashtag onboarding. I'm gonna leave this unchecked, save as workflow, perfect. All right, so now when I go back to the repeatable workflows screen up at the top here, we're gonna see an addition, but I'm gonna show you that in a second. First, we're gonna come down here and we're gonna see this training that we just created for Travis, this water mitigation tech training. As Travis goes through this training, he just got an email because we assigned it all to him saying, hey, you've just been assigned this water mitigation tech training. As Travis goes through it, the status is going to go from 0% to 5% to 20%. So I can see in aggregate across all my companies exactly how everyone is doing on their training. I know who's falling behind. I know who's ahead of the game. It's all there. So now if we go up here for repeatable workflows, we'll also scroll over, Water Tech Level 3 training. This is the training that we just created. You can see day 1, theory, practice. Perfect, it's all here. So if we want to assign that to somebody else, let's say I've got a new guy on my team, Joe Williams, and I want to assign him the same training that I just assigned Travis, all I have to do is drag and drop Joe onto this training here. And just like that, you can see it's now created a new workflow. Joe Williams, Water Tech Level 2. Oh, that was round 1. Water Tech Level 2. Here, let's go back and let's do it again for Joe. Level 3, there it is. Joe Williams, Water Tech Level 3 training. I can customize the start date. Let's say he doesn't start until July 22nd. I'm just gonna move that. You can see now all of these dates have been moved, 22nd, 23rd, 29th. You've got all the theory, all the practice. I can assign and edit, so I can add specific things to Joe's training that were not relevant for Travis, or remove things as well. Or I can assign and continue, and then go ahead and assign another training to another person without ever leaving the screen. So in Joe's case, it took me 30 seconds? I mean, half the time I was talking to you guys. It really takes about 5 seconds to assign Joe training. Joe's gonna get the same email Travis did saying, hey, we're excited for you to learn this skill of Water Tech Level 3. Here's what you have to learn on every specific day in order to acquire the skill and achieve this training and get this badge on your profile. Just like that, super easy. Last thing I want to show you, you've got a lot of employees here that are going through different aspects of training. So let's say you want to hone in on a few specific things. Let's say I want to know of all the training that Travis has been assigned, how's he doing? All I have to do is search for Travis on this list here. I'm going to click him, and then this just changed. This just filtered to show all of Travis's training. I've done a lot of these demos. So Travis keeps getting estimator training assigned, and he does not have a great track record of completing them all. I've got to work on that. So you can see, you can hone in on specific people and the training that they have done, but also if you want to focus in on specific roles, let's say this estimator training that we were just talking about. All I have to do is find the estimator training here, or I can search for it. Let's just search estimator, perfect. All right, so now if I click this filter button, what it's going to do is it's only going to filter and show me people who are going through this estimator training. So I can see all my estimators, how are they doing in their training? All my water techs, how are they doing in their training? You can see just how easy KnowHow has made it for you to be able to train and equip your employees at scale and stay on top of how they're doing, test them along the way, make sure that they not only have marked that training as complete, but they are competent in the role. Now let's switch over to the perspective of a worker who's just been assigned that training, and you can see what their experience is like. All right, I'm a worker. You can see here I've got KnowHow on my phone, and I received an email from my company that said, hey, here is your standardized training on KnowHow. Click the link, open up the KnowHow app, and this is where I'm brought to. If this is the first time that I've ever opened up KnowHow, it's going to give me a quick little tour. And on that tour, it's going to tell me to head to the dashboard where I have all the information I need on what I've been assigned and what I should do next in KnowHow. So let's take a look at this. You can see up at the top, that says 0% because I have 0 processes that have been completed so far this week, and I have 8 remaining 8 have been assigned to me. If I scroll down here, actually, let's go to this weekly badge challenge first. This is where employees can fill out their profile and show those in their company, hey, I am serious about learning. I'm serious about leveling up my expertise. As they use KnowHow more, as they ask more questions, as they complete more processes, as they finish more tests, their profile is going to become more filled out so everyone can see just how serious they are about leveling up their skills. Down here, though, where it says your processes, this is the meat and potatoes of KnowHow. This is where your employees are going to go in order to discover what has been assigned to them and what they need to do next in order to continue to progress in their role. You can see all the processes that we assigned Travis as a part of that water mitigation tech training are right here. So let's look at this first one, identify hazards on a work site. So you can see here, this is the step-by-step process on how to identify hazards on a work site. I'm going to click that first step, and it's going to take me to a link of OSHA's Hazard Identification and Assessment Protocol. Click that link. You can see it's linking to OSHA's website. I can read it all here. Once I've read it, I'm going to mark this process as complete and move on automatically to the next one, how to perform a walk-around inspection and consider all common workplace hazards. You can see here it's listed out in detail all the different hazards from electrical extension cords, forklifts, and machinery, chemicals. Mark that as complete and move on to the next one. Well, why shouldn't I just go complete? Because like we talked about, I'm about to get tested on the content in this process thanks to KnowHow's Skill Builder functionality. I just marked the last one as complete, just got hit with a test. And so let's go through this. Okay, KnowHow Skill Builder, identify hazards on a work site. Should take about 45 seconds. First question, chemicals do not degrade into volatile compounds and left unchecked. That sounds false. Nailed it. Correct, great. Which of these is not considered a common workplace hazard? I'd say an office desk. Okay, that's good. So you can see as I'm going through this, I am being tested and validated whether I actually am retaining the information or if I'm just breezing through training. But again, remember, you did not have to create all these tests from scratch as the manager. Our AI created it for you. Of course, you can edit it however you see fit. You can see I only got 3 out of 5, which is not a great score. Depends what public school you go to. But if you as a manager say, hey, my expectation is 80%, 100%, then that employee can retake that check-in with the button at the bottom there, or they can go to their notifications and take it from there. And so as they go through and complete these processes, you as a manager are going to be able to see their progress and their test scores. You can see that one we just completed on identifying common hazards on a work site. That one has been removed from my to-do list. And now I can go back to this workflow, either myself as the employee or the manager, and I can see how Travis is progressing. You can see I'm at 2% complete. And in this one, the score 80% on identifying hazards on a work site. Again, I as the employee can retake that at any time from the notifications page here, or I can just keep going through step by step all the processes that have been assigned to me. And as I do, that progress meter up at the top gets filled out so I as the employee can see my progress throughout the week as far as how well I'm working towards my goals. Here's the big takeaway. KnowHow has made it easier than ever to provide consistent, standardized training for all staff in all roles without a massive lift on your part as the manager to get that set up. It takes seconds to assign new staff specific training for their role, and as you saw, this is the critical part. KnowHow works for workers. It's mobile, it's translated into any language, it's easy to use, it's very clear what they're supposed to do next, and all the while you are confirming that they're not only becoming more confident, but they're becoming competent thanks to our testing functionality as well. For more information on how you can provide standardized training and testing and workflows for your staff, you know what to do. Head to tryknowhow.com and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks.